Let's talk about relationships, specifically the US and Asia. For decades, America was the cool, rich partner, offering security and economic perks to Asian allies. But in 2025, things are changing. 10 Asian nations are quietly shifting their alliances. It's not a dramatic breakup, more like leaving America's texts on read and updating their status to "it's complicated." Why now? It's about economics, national pride, and who sets the rules for the next century. Today, we'll reveal these 10 countries and the messy reasons behind their moves. They're hedging bets, diversifying friends, and telling Uncle Sam, "It's not you." Well, actually it is, but it's us too. This is the story of a world in transition where old certainties fade and new powers rise. Stay tuned, some of these names might surprise you. First up, the Philippines, a relationship that's always been close, almost family. For years, the US was Manila's security blanket, but now the Philippines is stepping back. The biggest sign? Scaling down joint military exercises, signaling a desire for more independence. Instead of relying on the US, Manila is forging new security ties with neighbors like Vietnam and Malaysia. It's about regional solutions for regional problems, not superpower dictates. Nationalism is rising, and the government wants to chart its own course. The US is still an ally, but the relationship is being renegotiated. No more automatic alignment. The Philippines is investing in its own capabilities and strengthening regional ties. It's a bold move, betting that local solidarity can replace old security guarantees. The era of default US alignment in Manila is over. Next, Malaysia, a country making a clear economic pivot toward China. The US pushed for stricter trade standards, but Malaysia saw it as protectionism and said no. Instead, Malaysia is all in on China's Belt and Road new railways, ports, and industrial parks. Chinese investment is reshaping Malaysia's economy and future. A high-profile state visit from Xi Jinping sealed a new comprehensive strategic partnership. Malaysia's leaders talk about economic sovereignty, subtly criticizing Western financial dominance. The US offers conditions. China offers loans and infrastructure. No strings, at least up front. For Malaysia, it's not anti-American, just pro-Malaysian. They're following the money, and right now Beijing has the deepest pockets. The economic center of gravity is shifting east. Thailand, America's oldest Asian ally, is drifting away. Political turmoil and cycles of coups have made US criticism feel like interference. In response, Thailand is pausing US arms deals and shopping for Russian and Turkish military gear. The new approach? Non-alignment, flexible, pragmatic, and not beholden to any one power. Thai diplomats call it bamboo bending in the wind, friends with everyone, dependent on no one. The US is now just one of many partners, not the anchor it once was. Internal chaos has accelerated Thailand's foreign policy diversification. They're hedging bets, building a multipolar network, and keeping national interests front and center. The old US-Thailand alliance is now just one thread in a much larger web. For Washington, it's a sobering reality. Thailand is no longer a guaranteed ally. Indonesia, the world's largest archipelago, is asserting its independence. Once a key US maritime partner, Indonesia is now pulling out of US-led drills in the South China Sea. Jakarta's free and active policy means no picking sides in great power rivalries. Instead, Indonesia is doubling down on ASEAN and building ties with China and Japan. Security in Asia, they argue, should be managed by Asians, through dialogue, not military alliances. Indonesia still works with the US on some issues, but refuses to be drawn into US-China rivalry. Their foreign policy is multi-directional, seeking partners for development and stability. For Washington, this is a major shift. Indonesia is charting its own course, prioritizing regional cooperation over superpower alignment. The age of automatic US leadership in Jakarta is over. Pakistan's US relationship has always been a roller coaster now. It's getting off for good. The big move? Joining BRICS, plus signaling a shift toward China and Russia. US aid has dried up, replaced by deepening ties with China's Belt and Road, and new energy deals with Russia. Pakistan's resentment over conditional US aid and constant demands has pushed it to seek more reliable partners. Joint military exercises with Russia and economic integration with China are the new normal. Decades of distrust sanctions, the Bin Laden raid have left Pakistan feeling used, not valued. Now Islamabad is building all-weather friendships in its own neighborhood. For the US, it means losing a key partner in a critical region. Pakistan is betting on new alliances for stability and growth. The old US-Pakistan dynamic is history. The pivot east is real. Bangladesh, once quietly aligned with the West, is now pushing back. Accusing the US of election meddling, Dhaka has withdrawn from US-led economic groups. The move is about sovereignty and reducing vulnerability to American pressure. Bangladesh is deepening ties with India, but the real pivot is toward China. Chinese investment and the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank offer development without political strings. Bangladesh is exercising its agency, balancing India and China, and rejecting Western lectures. It's a success story in poverty reduction, now demanding respect and autonomy. The days of one-sided US influence are over. Bangladesh is building its future with partners who treat it as an equal. Sri Lanka's economic collapse forced a dramatic realignment, straight into Beijing's arms. When crisis hit, Western aid was slow and conditional. China offered quick bailouts and debt relief. Now, Chinese-built ports like Hambantota are central to Sri Lanka's plans, while US naval access is revoked. Sri Lanka is eyeing BRICS Plus, seeking a multipolar world less dependent on Western finance. Critics call it debt-trap diplomacy, but for Colombo, China was the only lifeline. The result, a strategic shift with China gaining a key foothold in the Indian Ocean. The US has lost major influence on this vital island. Sri Lanka's desperation has redrawn the map. Kazakhstan, once a careful balancer, is now firmly anchored in the east. The government declared US military partnership non-essential, a stunning reversal. Russia and China are now the main security and economic partners. Kazakhstan is a linchpin in the Belt and Road and a key member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It's even exploring regional currencies to bypass the US dollar. Geography is destiny. Landlocked between giants, Kazakhstan sees its future with them. The US is simply too distant and unreliable. American influence in Central Asia is fading fast. Myanmar's 2021 coup ended any pretense of balancing the West. The junta severed ties with the US, embracing Russia and China for support. Russia supplies weapons and diplomatic cover. China invests and manages border interests. For the junta, this authoritarian solidarity is a lifeline against Western sanctions. Myanmar's isolation is now a case study in how US pressure can drive regimes eastward. The people's struggle for freedom is now entangled in global power games. The US is shut out. Russia and China are in. Myanmar's pivot is total and irreversible for now. Iran's shift in 2025 is about joining a global anti-US bloc, not just defiance. Iran now drills with Chinese and Russian navies, projecting a new security axis. It's selling oil for yuan and rubles, directly challenging the petrodollar. By joining BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Iran has broken out of isolation. Now it has powerful friends and economic lifelines, making it more resilient to US pressure. Iran is no longer a lone adversary. It's a networked one. This transforms the US-Iran rivalry into a global challenge. The confrontation is now more complex and more dangerous. The post-American world order is taking shape. From Manila to Tehran, Asia's strategic realignment is reshaping global power. It's not a conspiracy, just nations seeking sovereignty, growth and security in a multipolar world. The unipolar moment is over. The world is now a complex web of shifting alliances. For the US, this means adapting from leader to just one player among many. The future of power is being written in Asian capitals, not just Washington. Is this a healthy evolution or a dangerous fragmentation? Let us know in the comments. If you learned something new, hit like and subscribe for more deep dives. Thanks for watching. And stay tuned for more on the world's biggest shifts. See you next time.